All right, welcome back, everybody. A flashy new men's magazine is making its debut, and of course, it's wrapped in plenty of female skin. And since its editor is Kiss's Gene Simmons, you won't be surprised that he's having a whole lot of fun with it. It's called what else? Tongue. Gene Simmons.
No.
Oh.
No.
Go ahead.
It's called Gene Simmons' tongue.
Oh, excuse me. Gene Simmons' tongue, of course.
Of course, because in the same way that Alfred Hitchcock Presents isn't just Alfred Hitchcock, it's called Presents. You know, I'm getting a little
feedback.
Little echo. I'm a little echo in my
I'm sorry.
earphones.
I'm going to try to get them to fix that for us. In the meantime, if you can bear with me, here you say, Gene, that the magazine is for men who are working hard each day, but still know how to turn every day into a party. So who are those men, Gene?
Well, I think the magazine is really an extension of who I am, which is why my name is above the title. I mean, there's a simple notion about life when you really think about it. All philosophies and religions really point to it. We've been given the birth of life, either by the grand designer, whoever that is. But at the end of the day, life is what you make it. And as my philosophy about life is, every day above ground is a good day. And you have the choice to either live it or not. I choose to live it. So Gene Simmons' Tongue magazine is really a sort of an expression of that philosophy. So I am unapologetically and unabashedly, and those are big words like gymnasium, attracted to all women, all sizes, all shapes. Anybody got a problem?
All colors too.
Everything. Everything. If it moves, I love you so much with all my heart. But if anybody's got a problem with that, it's their problem and not mine. So if you can think of Playboy but with the clothes on, because I want to be in every newsstand, Gene Simmons' Tongue magazine isn't far from that. However, we will cover the spectrum. It is really sex, style, and rock and roll. Drugs have no place in my magazine.
Oh, well, that's good. You've got a lot of sex, though. Let me, page 88, for instance, you have Fox on the Run. That's the title of an article. It's and there's a quote here saying, it says, breaking the rules with Sports Illustrated swimsuit model and actress Josie Moran, or advice on squirting cow's milk, hugging pigs, and having sex twice a day. All right, then we go on to page 18. I mean, you know, it struck my fancy for some reason. Check this out on page 18, as you know. I love this. You're calling Dr. Love, the sexpert you have there, your columnist. She says that most girls know if they want to sleep with a guy within 15 minutes of meeting them.
I would say that's true.
Well, you know what, Gene? They say sex sells. Are you banking on that?
Well, it's the prime directive, isn't it? You know, the primordial urge to merge, if you will. Without it, we wouldn't be here. And we wouldn't have echo in our earphones, too. I'll find this engineer. I'll find him.
Gene, I'm going to get that taken care of for you in a second. But let me get Jason here from Texas. What do you have to say to Gene Simmons?
Well, in the day and age that we are, there's so many other magazines out there for gentlemen. What really sets this one apart, and is there a market out there for another men's magazine?
You know, there's always a market out there for anything that's done well. There's always a time and place. You know, there's Restaurant Row. All the best restaurants line up with each other. There's always room for more good food. The notion that there's a time or a market that sort of prevents you from doing your good stuff is nonsense. There's no such thing as a bad time for doing anything that's good, and there's always a bad time to do something that's bad. Gene Simmons' Talk magazine happens to be a great magazine, which means it's a great time to do it.
Hey, Gene, you know what? You're more than a man with sex on the brain, and more than a man who wears makeup and high heels, of course. Here's what you had to say in your magazine, okay? In your section called Tongue Lashings. It says, I've had my own I've had my own record label. I've managed the careers of other artists, including Liza Minnelli's recording career. I discovered Van Halen. I recently wrote a New York Times best-selling book, Kiss and Makeup. I'm buying a hotel resort. What drives you?
Well, I was born in another country. I was born in Israel, as a matter of fact. I know I don't look Swiss. And when I first came to America, I discovered that the Promised Land wasn't just in the Old Testament. It really is a living, breathing thing, and it's called America. By the way, only in America is a phrase that exists here. There's no such thing as only in France or only in Sweden. It doesn't fly. The thing about America that's astonishing is that there are no limitations to any dreams. And so I'm cursed and blessed with having huge ambitions, as are some of my body parts. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I have big ideas, and then from the ideas to the reality is really an awful lot of hard work. What drives me is America. America is a place without limitations, and there's no reason in the world why Gene Simmons' Tongue magazine shouldn't be right next to Time magazine. We're just as good.
Okay, well, listen, you know what? I want to switch gears for a second and go from America to the Middle East. And I know I've heard you speak out on that situation, that crisis before. Just your thoughts right now, today, in light of what's happening.
You know, none of us are really qualified to make adept political sort of sweeping generalizations. There are certain things that are going to really get everybody angry on both sides of the fence. Unfortunately, there's more than two sides of the fence. So let me just talk about it from the point of view of pragmatism, which is to say that when you're uneducated and when Islam is not just your religion, but when it's a very extreme version of that, because, by the way, my son's best friend is a Persian Islamic boy who's a great kid who comes over to the house all the time. But I'm not giving you some of my best friends are. This is just reality. The reality is that when you're in the Palestinian section and when you're surrounded by mullahs and all kinds of other people who have different agendas, you're not listening to CNN. You don't see that there's an outside world. So for you, everything is black and white. And if you're a parent, you actually believe that sending your son to death is a way to get into heaven. So I can't tell you how heinous I think that is. But at the end of the day, there has to be a Palestine. There has to be a place where children of those people can grow up and live a life of peace. However, once there's a Palestinian state, once there are legitimate borders, then, if there are incursions, all-out war.
Thank you very much for speaking out on that for me. Before I let you go, though, Gene, tell me quickly about your Dragonfly stores and the Dragonfly clothing line.
Well, first of all, GeneSimmons.com is a place where anybody can log on and find out what I'm up to, besides, of course, wearing higher heels and more makeup than your mom ever did in this band called Kiss, which, by the way, is America's #1 gold record champions of all time.
I read that.
No other band. And I'm going to open up a series of stores, the first one in Hollywood. It's called Gene Simmons Dragonfly, and then the second one's going to be in London, England, funded by the Princess of Brunei. Oh, hell, there's an awful lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
I wish I could send everybody a postcard. Having a great time. Wish you were here.
Gene Simmons, you know what? Don't go, because, you know, I told you I had these church people in the audience. They need to see your tongue, man. They need to see it. They are desperate to see your tongue.
Well, you know, as a former theology student, I can tell you, as a student of Rabbi Yeshua ben Yosef, and of course the Bible students know who that is. Do you know who I'm talking about?
You guys, raise your hand. They're clueless, Gene.
Well,
Gene, they want to see your tongue. That's it.
Well, first of all, his name was Yeshua ben Yosef. That's Jesus' real name, and he was a rabbi because he was a teacher. So if you're a Bible student and you don't know that his title and his name was Rabbi Yeshua ben Yosef, you need to go back to Bible study.
Okay, but what about the tongue?
Why are you interested? Is it the size or is it the motion?
Listen, they want to see it. So.
And but does that mean I'm going to sin?
What? Does that mean you're going to sing?
S-I-N.
Sin? Well, how is that sinning?
Well, those are semantics, but of course I'm not anti-semantic, so. Yeah, so you want to say it? Well, come in for a close-up.
It's there. Go. Do it.
Come
now.
on. Come on.
That's close enough, Gene. There you go. All right. All right. They're satisfied. Thank you very much for joining us today, Gene Simmons. All right. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, on your next flight, will you pay by the pound? We're going to talk about wide bodies and narrow seats next. Don't go anywhere. Who knows what's going to happen?